Let's get some reaction now. For more, we're joined by economic analyst Owen Nkomo. A very good evening to you, Owen. Thank you so much for your time. Stats SA set to release first quarter GDP data tomorrow. What can we expect?
Thank you so much for having me. Definitely, we're expecting very benign growth in the economy through the GDP measure. And as you have indicated, we don't think that we're going to see more than 1.2% growth this year at the end of the year, and that could actually be exacerbated by the environment that permeates after the decision on the coalitions that we're currently waiting for the outcomes of. If the wrong combinations, as perceived by the markets, of parties takes over, then I think sentiment is just going to get worse, and we're going to see even the PMI indicator dropping even more. And I do think that manufacturing, mining, and freight, like you mentioned, all of those sectors will continue to be under a lot of pressure. So we don't expect any major gains in GDP until probably late next year, depending on the sort of policies that will be implemented by whoever takes over the running of the country.
What are some of the considerations which come with that? Because for one, perhaps looking at the possibility that the economy may have stagnated or even contracted.
Well, it's the biggest challenge has obviously been Eskom, which only until recently has been a very big problem for producers, for manufacturers, and for the service industry at large. And I think that policy uncertainty, as well as this being a very big election year, people have to take their foot off the pedal to wait and see what the election results have got in store for them before they start pumping up production. And there's also a big question about where the world economy is going. We saw relatively sluggish, growth or sentiment coming out of China. Luckily, starting to improve because if you know very well that China is one of our biggest trading partners. So that has a very big impact on our ability to grow our GDP. And I think, importantly, the country is not probably best positioned to take advantage of, some of the global growth that we've seen over the past few years. Things like Transnet not being able to provide maximum capacity to our exporters, very, very big problem. And I think, however, we are starting to see some improvements on the Transnet side, and which is actually affecting negatively the freight side, and as far as trucking is concerned.
Yeah. I mean, as you and I speak, Owen, Eskom has drastically improved its energy availability factor, helped by the lower breakdowns and helping it suspend load shedding for 2 months. I mean, the 60-day stretch is the longest power cut-free period since 2021. But we know this was not the case in the first quarter, which most likely impacted economic performance during that period.
100%. So and this is why we're very excited that there's been a bit of stability in terms of the electricity supply into the grid nationally. The issue obviously becomes affordability of electricity going forward, because inflation on electricity has been a big problem, and electricity being a big input to production, manufacturing, and processing in general. We are looking for a reprieve in terms of the price. But I think definitely for the last quarter, things were bleak. The various blackouts that we experienced in that the growth that we had anticipated fade out. We're going to see that in the number come out.
Very well. Thank you so much for weighing in on this discussion. Economic analyst Owen Nkomo speaking to us there just ahead of Stats SA releasing its first quarter GDP data tomorrow.